It's day 4 at the Farmer's Apprentice boot camp, and so far our apprentices have been tested on pig handling, sheep herding, high-tech tractors, public speaking and marketing. But are they ready to come face to face with some of their future customers, and very demanding ones at that?
They say you shouldn't work with animals and you shouldn't work with children. But this is farming, not show business, so in a few hours' time, about 40 children are going to arrive, and they are your responsibility. This is about education, it's about engaging young people, and it's about getting young people inspired in agriculture and the great outdoors.
The school children will be arriving in just a matter of hours, so there's no time to waste. It's straight into the planning.
Makes it less one at a time, like one story at a time.
Yeah.
So where did you get your bread from?
Yeah, yeah.
And then go backwards.
If you just start with a loaf of bread and start working backwards, it doesn't really have a point, if that makes sense. Because you're just setting off with a loaf of bread and then you're just working backwards to a point that you get to.
Should we just give an actual practice now?
Yeah,
While we've got the time.
We've still got ages, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for a walk right now.
I
We're
think
going
we
to get
should
tons of ideas
see
on
how
route,
long it
rather than
takes.
sitting here thinking, because we can also time it.
How many have we got though?
We
Yeah,
got
we should.
17 until.
Okay.
So we got 17.
Let's hope we have 17 kids.
Now what I found when I was out on the farm was a bit of dirt, a little bit of straw, and the straw is used for bedding. So these are the things I've found. Can you find them or better?
Okay, so do you want to start talking about that at the grass or at the poo?
Well, the grass, when you're walking past it, you'll have to talk about something. You're walking down a bare field,
Yeah.
down next to the hedge, you'll have to talk about something.
They're all going outside to start themselves off, sorry.
So, we're all here today to learn about breakfast. That's what we want to learn about, okay? So, what do you guys like having for breakfast?
Cheerios!
Cheerios? What do you have for your Cheerios? English breakfast. Milk. Who said milk?
I don't like
Yeah,
milk.
Cheerios and milk.
Chocolate.
Put your hand up once if you're excited. If you're double excited, put up 2 hands. If you're really excited, put up your feet.
So, what are these animals here? Who doesn't know what that is? And what sound does a cow make? Really quickly. Pretty good. So, what if we told you that a pig weighs 400 kilograms when it's fully grown? 400 kilograms, true? So how many kids do you reckon we need to make 400 kilograms?
Yeah, so the floor to weigh
200 kids.
How big do you think the plant is that this comes from? This big? More big? Okay. This big? Gianter.
Yeah, there you go.
That is how big the plant is.
So Billy weighs 35 kilograms, doesn't he? So we need more than 10 Billies to make a pig.
Do you know that cows only have bottom teeth? Cows only have bottom teeth.
So you know that snail was really... Oh, is it eating a spider?
Everybody come forward. Can everybody see the machine that's working? Can everybody see it? That is a robot.
So I wouldn't recommend buying them.
Wait, but to keep them really warm. Yeah.
Can you see how they're hiding behind the straw bale? Can you see the pig burying itself in the straw?
And what happens is, the pigs come in, and they stand here, and then on this screen comes up how heavy they are. And once they get heavier and heavier, we move them from shed to shed.
What happens if I fall over? I look very silly. Done one when I was at Adelaide.
What, by a holly? Holly. They're a bit sharp, aren't they? Finishing now, stick one quick.
The camera's here.
Wait, do you hear? Listen.
Maybe he's over that way.
Right, let's do it this way.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
He's right. He's
yeah, we found them!
You're the best behaved class we've had all year. So,
So everybody give yourselves a big clap.
Big clap to you.
Who wants to be a farmer?
Who knows where milk comes from?
I am not wearing pink socks. I am not wearing pink socks. That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, the children certainly leave the farm happy, but will the judges be as impressed?
I think it was great because, I mean, it was obvious in the groups that I was watching, or both groups, that there wasn't anybody that had a huge amount of experience with handling children in that age groups, and just seeing how they reacted to something out with their comfort zone was good.
They really were up for this task. They really wanted to do it. They thought, what a cracking idea to suddenly have all these kids coming, and they didn't feel frightened by the time scale. They probably should have done. They felt they had enough time to prepare, and they just couldn't. Certainly the group that I was watching couldn't. The difficulty was actually cutting back on the things they wanted to do with the kids.
I think the other thing that I saw in the task this afternoon for the first time was the competition element kicking in, and people working very hard to be seen. And sometimes it worked very well and brought out the best in them. Other times in the presentation that we saw, Matt and I saw inside, there was a little bit of starting to talk over each other just to get that centre stage.
It was definite competition.
Yeah.
From the mics,
Yeah.
because they were buzzing off each other, but they wanted to be heard.
Because of course we did ask the kids, who was your favourite farmer?
Yeah.
And who was their favourite? Did someone come out on top?
Certainly in the group that I was with, it was George. There were some Joshes as well.
Earlier in the week, the contestants were told that they'd each have to present a formal business pitch to a panel of judges and industry experts. They'll have a budget of up to £100,000 to develop a new and profitable enterprise on the Reaseheath College farm, and they've been told to be ambitious.
This is it. The moment the whole week's been building up to. The moment when what they've learnt out there on the farm is brought in here to the boardroom. Some of them have been up all night. Some of them have been making phone calls to New Zealand at 3 o'clock in the morning to get this done. And what they're being judged on is, yes, their presentation skills and their creative flair, but also their business acumen and, of course, their passion for farming. And the big question is, will what they say in here be enough to make them the first ever farmer's apprentice?
I have a theory, and I've been working on this for a long time, and I believe the key to solving the problem with the dairy industry is the truth. When you convey the truth to the consumers will be able to make a decision. Now, what is the truth? You need to use something in order to convey a message. Now, I believe that oil is so similar to milk that when you understand how similar it is, you'll understand how undervalued it is.
You're mentioning the consumer. I have a degree of revulsion at the idea of mixing milk as oil. Do you think that would be a problem?
It could be a problem if it's not conveyed properly. But the whole point of this is to understand that milk is as valuable as oil, not that milk is oil.
How was it?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I think I held my own. There were a lot of good questions I didn't really think about before I went in, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
We asked for a business plan, and he used half his time to pitch something that was nothing to do with his business plan.
He openly admitted that at the start. It was a risk.
No, I know, it was a risk.
I think, given the time frames we had to prepare it, I think I've done average to okay.
You on the other side? Good morning. Well, I'll start with the problem. The UK imports 80% of the protein used in animal feed. And Matt has said from the beginning that protein availability is the major limiting factor in increasing livestock, the profitability of livestock production.
Walk in and do it.
I think as soon as number 3 goes in, whoever's number 3, I'm number 4. So as soon as they go in, I'm going to start reading through my stuff. Just so I know before when they ask questions, I can retort. You're number 3. You're going to warm the crowd up from there?
I'm brilliant.
Without moving on your slides, could you tell us what the return on investment of your proposal was, what it was going to save and what it was going to generate?
About £54 in the first year.
How was it?
It was okay.
I thought that was fascinating.
Wonderful.
Really exciting.
That's a really good idea.
My idea was to feed maggots to pigs. No one said it was a terrible idea. They didn't run from the room screaming, so I think it has legs.
You know, and she did answer them in the questions about food security and why it was a good idea.
She's well aware of the economics around it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They wanted to know predicted future costs or income, which I can't predict because it was based on quite a scientific, big science experiment, really. So we'll see how that works.
Impact of the idea on Reaseheath and other enterprises. How innovative and courageous is their idea?
10.
10, okay. Sustainability, flexibility, well, it's full marks, isn't it?
It's self.
This is an incredibly high score we're giving her.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And my aim was to exploit the beef market at the moment. There is a short supply of it, there is a demand, and there's a worldwide shortage. So the price is pretty good at the moment. Here at Reaseheath College, they have the Holsteins, who are the milking cows. From them, they have the bull calves that come off them. And at the moment, they sell them at 10 days old. There's an opportunity to add value to that product on this college. I'm proposing building the shed right beside the calf unit out the back. This side of the shed would be solid, and this side of the shed would be solid with the Yorkshire board coming down. There would be shuttered panels up to about 2 metres high.
I'm afraid I haven't quite got what the return on investment.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm asking the question.
Yeah,
Could
not
you
a
tell me
problem.
what it is?
Of course I can, yeah. When I costed it all out, it came back, obviously the shed was that cost. But then when I worked it out, I was going to have a bit of a cash flow issue. Because what happens is, obviously, I had nothing going out for 15 months.
Yeah.
So I costed it all out, and I actually ran over budget. Yeah, it went okay. Time management was poor, again. That's twice.
The feasibility, that's the first discussion that I had with him on what is proposed.
I had an answer for every question they had.
Yeah.
If I'd only just speeded it up a little bit.
Utilisation of the half of the shed that was built as a one project but has only been kitted out in 1 year due to cash flow, due to money, and it's planned for this autumn to do exactly what he's said. But that's fine, he's taken that and he's used it and he's added on to that the second shed.
The tilting balance of the return of, is it 23.5% on capital invested? I would doubt there's many beef farmers making 23% on capital invested at the moment.
I knew for a fact they were going to quiz me on numbers.
Yeah, and how did
I
that
had to
go?
have the numbers right. No, they were right.
They were right?
Of course they were right.
You
yeah.
were worried
I had them
beforehand,
right.
though, that
no,
they...
I knew they were right.
So, my business proposition swivels on the motto of for the community by Reaseheath. So the crux of it are, I intend to establish a low-cost, high-revenue travelling market stall selling beef, lamb and pork. The beef will come from associated farms with Reaseheath, and the pork and the lamb would already come from the college. I feel the biggest positive from a business perspective is that we only have to buy the beef in. We don't have to buy any of the lamb, so obviously you're talking larger profit margins because you're not buying in the other two products.
I'm the Reaseheath principal and you're putting this to me at the moment, right? So I'm going to have to employ you. How much am I going to have to pay you out of this?
I'd be happy to do it for free.
So what are you going to live on?
Mince.
Mince?
Trotters in the ears.
I suppose I could take a minimum wage of £6 something. I haven't really considered it, to be honest. But again, I feel that the profit that would be incurred per year would cover me on that.
Good, better than I expected. I thought that they were going to pick a lot more holes in it. They did pick up on a lot of mistakes or shortcomings.
Do they like the general concept of it?
They all seem to like the general concept, yeah.
There's quite a lot of business naivety there, but it has come from, you know, he has travelled a long way this week.
He has. But I'm relieved that that part's over. It's the first time I've ever done any form of business plan, ever. So I'm quite pleased with myself.
For somebody who's been such a fantastic speaker all week, he kind of lost a trick in his own strengths.
Well, Andy was reading it as well,
Yeah,
you know, so he'd actually prepared it and not referred to his plan.
Reaseheath College has an elite Holstein herd, so that's one that's at the top of its game. Yet, from what I can gather, it seems like it's struggling to make money. It switched to milking 3 times a day to try and get more milk. It didn't. Things can't be that great. Yet at the same time, I don't think that dairy is all bad. I think there are great opportunities out there. My vision would be to build a new parlour somewhere around here near the anaerobic digester to make use of that great facility. Then, because this block of land isn't big enough, we put in an underpass to reach a new block of land across the B504. In total, we'd be looking to convert about 109 hectares to this milking platform, but allowing for a 5% infrastructure instalment of things like tracks and a new parlour. I think we make a new platform of about 104 hectares that was grazable.
How was it?
Yeah, okay. So there's a massive cash surplus, and it basically meant that the fact my figures didn't add up was fine, because even if I was £100,000 out, I can still make £200,000 profit.
It's a very good business proposal. He has underestimated the number of sale cows or empty cows that will be going out to the market, so he's only at 15% here. He's overestimated what he would get for them.
What were they saying? They were thinking I was being a bit too ambitious in the figures that I'd based it on were on like figures that would be available if you're a top producer in the industry, and maybe in reality I should have said if you're an average producer in the industry, but that's okay.
The education side of it is underestimated, and how much impact that has on a business to run smoothly. And we have a huge amount of labour costs because of the training we have to provide.
I think it is the best business plan we've seen because he's understanding, given a very good line of costs. He has had some naivety in different areas and got some things wrong.
What are you going to do now?
Go cry and change my pants and that sort of thing.
Basically, I'm here today to persuade you that you want to breed these. They're rouge pedigree rouges, and my plan today is to pitch to you that you want to breed a nucleus flock to breed so you can use as terminal size to the rest of your mule flock.
As somebody that believes that there's more variation in a breed than there is between them, and the fact that the rouge was probably imported in the late 80s and early 90s, why rouge?
I've worked with the rouges at college. You see the texels, the bell texels, the charolais, which is preference to some, but I think the rouges are really good. They're really fertile, they have the really nice long flat back.
Are you really saying you've identified a breed that hasn't really caught on yet? So you are anticipating a demand, and
yeah, they're slowly getting more and more, and the prices are going up and up. Yeah, because I can balance in my head. I believe in it so much that I just sort of was like, no, this is the way to do it.
It fits for Reaseheath completely. It's exactly what we should be doing.
I don't think there's been enough thought going to go, well, what is the unique selling point of selling half a lamb? I think her conviction and belief in her pitch is absolute, but it's so narrow, and it scares me that she's just focused in so much on this, and she hasn't just opened the blinkers a wee bit.
That's why I wasn't worried, I think, because I know I had like the support, and I knew I was right in a way without sounding arrogant.
Birds of a Feather is the brand. My business proposition is to produce a 3-bird roast. This will be to buy in a whole turkey that's been deboned and dressed, but it still has its legs and its wings, but they'll be like cut off halfway, so it still looks like your turkey that you buy from a shelf. It still looks like a bird.
How was it?
It was fine.
Is that all?
Yeah.
For the judges that have been here all week, that was quite left field for us, really. That was not what you'd be expecting from Annabelle at all.
She just talks sheep.
Yeah.
And
They basically said I didn't need any money at all. I didn't even realise that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's feasible, but the price is the biggest factor that's going to stop it working.
It is an incredible return on investment, particularly if you don't need any investment.
Well, with that borrowing, she could afford to sell them at
quite a
lot less and still have a return.
But I knew that when I went in, but I didn't realise how much. But they were fine with it. They were quite impressed with it.
My plan was to have Charolais cross Texel ewes and put them to a Charolais tup. 10% or a figure around that, depending on what lambs I don't deem fit for the rest of the things. Sold as fat lambs, but of a premium quality, being of mostly Charolais, bit of Texel in there.
You referred a few times to the quality of your product.
Yeah.
How do you know it's going to be a quality product?
From the ewes that will be bought in. I've put Texel in there because Texel sells well up in this part of the country, but because of the quality of the stock. In my costings, I've costed in buying good ewes and good tups.
How was it?
I didn't like the idea. Not at all.
Apart from the obvious errors, how realistic is that as a proposal?
It's every young lad who's coming into the industry's dream. That's how they all want to start off, isn't it? But some of the costs fundamentally are wrong. His setup costs are a lot higher than he thinks they are.
Yeah, it's all done now, so not to worry. Time to go for a sleep.
I don't know what he was trying to think, but he's trying to say 20 tup lambs at £400, so that leaves you 155 rest of the lambs that are being sold at 121 quid each. which, you know, that's dream stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a deliverable project.
My plan is I have a new scheme to diversify Reaseheath, is to have a hatchery project. The reasons behind having them here at Reaseheath is that you're quite local to a lot of towns around. There's a lot around you.
How realistic is your charge of £400 to charge a school for the incubator?
Honestly, I don't know how much people have set aside in their schools, but it's not. I don't think it's a ridiculous amount to have to pay for someone to come to your school 3 times, to do classes, to give you packs, to link it to the education that you're already trying to teach them.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think so. I thought I'd get so much more harsh questions, but it's good.
Right. Is this something Reaseheath would do?
If it's raising awareness of how nature is going ahead and how they can spark the interest in to very young age, of course it would.
I'm pretty sure my figures all made sense, so it's good. No new maths.
I think the thing there is that she's played it safe. She knows a market, she knows her game, and I think that's why she's executed it quite well.
She did really well then.
That is good.
I'd like to introduce you to my business plan. It's a new venture called Reaseheath Corporate Events. The aim of this business is to organise and deliver bespoke corporate retreats. So this is where a company would send maybe the executive team or a multidisciplinary team and sends them off. Sometimes it's for team building, sometimes it's to come up with a new product, sometimes it's seasonal. But in this case, there are lots of companies that are offering this kind of service, but not all. But I haven't found any that are doing it in this particular angle, doing it in a place such as Reaseheath, which has these fantastic and unique facilities.
You right?
Yeah.
Do you do anything like this already?
The limiting
What
factor.
we're doing here, isn't
the
it?
limiting factor is the accommodation, the rooms. During term time, every single room is stuffed.
I most of the maths was okay. It was just one kind of guesstimation on my part, which wasn't quite there. But apart from that, it was all solid.
Research and evidence.
He'd done an awful lot of research to get what he'd got on that
He
board.
just hadn't really got the one
just hadn't
thing he
got
needed to start
the
with.
right bit, but he'd worked hard there.
Yeah.
I think I need to sleep because I've been up all night doing this. So.
So we've not got the accommodation, and the expenditure cost isn't real because there's no staffing cost.
You do things for nothing, don't you?
Oh, only for you, dear.
So after a chaotic morning of school kids and hours spent scrutinising business pitches, are the judges any closer to picking their winner?
So I haven't heard any of the presentations you've had, but I've heard briefly what they're about. Quite a range of business opportunities. What did you make of them?
We were stunned. They were so good. So many people have... we didn't give them any time to do these. And the amount of research, the quality of the presentations was very moving.
The application they've shown in that short period of time they had to complete the task in hand was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And the variety and depth of them it was great. There wasn't 2 projects the same, was
No,
it? Not
nowhere
2
near
projects
the same. Nothing vaguely the
I
same.
actually got to the point where you thought, well, I wonder what they're going to talk about. It was just so different what was coming at you.
Any particular concepts that really stood out that worked?
Catherine's was staggering
Outstanding.
as a business plan for the future, and it addressed a real problem of a protein shortage in the world going forward. And
that was a concept that's needed now.
Yeah.
I thought Sam did phenomenally well. I think that was a very moving pitch and of a very passionate young lady.
And we had a sheep opportunity from James, didn't we?
We did. James, very passionate.
I didn't know you could put sheep in polytunnels.
You know, it was great to see some of the people that have maybe been a little bit quieter this week. I mean, Annabelle's probably the one that has been, but when she got onto a topic that she was passionate about,
with confidence,
she just opens up and she's fantastic.
Yeah. The apprentices have done everything they can to prove they deserve the title of Farmer's Apprentice 2012. And, of course, don't forget the £10,000 prize. Now the hard work lies with the judges, who have some big decisions to make. Who will win? Find out in the 5th and final episode of The Farmer's Apprentice.